Alright, time to address another hot take from my Patreon. My Patreon is patreon.com/ProZD. It's $1 a month. There's a link down there. And if you want to submit a future hot take that I might cover in a video, go ahead and pledge. This one is from Blah. I think that a bad adaptation of a manga into anime is better than no adaptation. It hurts, but at least I can stop hoping. I will admit, though, that being exposed to a bad adaptation will taint the enjoyment of the source. I don't agree with this one. So, for me, it hurts, but at least I can stop hoping. Honestly, anime is one of those mediums where it's kind of nice because even if, let's say, a bad version of an anime, or manga, I should say, comes out, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, they might just reboot it. It happens all the time. I mean, I'm not going to go into it in this video, at least. But for example, like a Fullmetal Alchemist, right? You know, the 2003 anime versus Brotherhood. It's a whole conversation. If you want me to make a video, I've already talked about that topic. If you want me to make a video, like, specifically about that, let me know in the comments. I might do it, but it's old hat at this point. Anyway, the point is that just because an anime comes out of a manga does not mean that it'll never, ever, you know, get an anime again. It's not, you know, many cases where that's not the case. Now, here's the last part I really disagree with, though. I will admit that being exposed to a bad adaptation will taint the enjoyment of the source. For me, absolutely not. If anything, it makes the source even stronger. It makes you go, wow, this is a really good manga. And the anime cannot, like, you know, fully capture how good it is. That's why sometimes when an anime is announced, I'm like a little skeptical. I'm like, I don't know, the manga is really hard to top. So it's nice when it does manage to reach it, or even in some cases surpass it, but not all the time. So I wanted to also use this video to talk about, I watched the Uzumaki anime, the Junji Ito series. I watched it for a video I was going to do on my main channel, and I never did it. And now I'm like, damn, I just watched this terrible show for no reason. But this felt like a really good opportunity to just talk about kind of like what didn't work about, I mean, a lot of things didn't work with Uzumaki, but and how it makes me feel about the original work. So if you haven't read or watched Uzumaki, there's this town, and like spirals start appearing, and a lot of crazy stuff happens. That's all you really need to know. It gets wilder and wilder as it goes. And it's my favorite Junji Ito work. I think it's his best. The anime famously came out with a trailer that got people very excited. And the first episode of the anime is quite good. It's animated very well. It captures his style pretty successfully. The music is, I think, by the Hereditary composer. It's straight up a good adaptation. Is it better than the manga? No, but you can't really compete with that. It's fucking Junji Ito. Like, his art is so beautiful and terrifying. But that first episode's really good. And then, what was it, like 4 episodes or something? It was just doomed to fail because of that. I mean, the pacing is just awful. In fact, there were a lot of like viral clips of like, oh, look at this shot, it's so bad. And yeah, it does look bad. Like, there are some pretty infamously bad shots in it that if you watch them, you know, without any context, like a 10-second clip, it is awful. I'm not excusing that. But I would actually say most of the show, besides the first episode, just looks mediocre. It doesn't actually look that horribly awful the whole time. But somehow that's, I don't want to say worse, because at least maybe with bad animation it'd be kind of entertaining to watch. It's just a clumsily mid adaptation of his work. But the biggest issue for me is actually not the animation, it's the pacing. It really just feels like they're trying to get through all the stuff in a, like, why? I mean, I know why. I'm sure there were so many production issues, but just having it be that few episodes, it was fucked. There was no way it was going to be good. Part of what makes Uzumaki so successful in the manga is it's this slow build, but stuff starts to get crazier and crazier, and then it just crescendos into this absolutely bonkers like finale part that I won't spoil. And the scale of it, like the absurdity of it, the haunting nature of it all, really blossoms into this really fun finale. But with the pacing being so shitty, so rushed, it just falls flat. It falls so flat. The reason why I'm bringing all this up is that, however, it absolutely does not diminish my enjoyment of the original. In fact, it makes me go, man, I love that manga. That manga is so good. This show's a piece of shit, but the manga is amazing. So I don't know. I don't know what necessarily how. I mean, now listen, if you never experienced the source material, then you might be like, oh man, this is bad or whatever. But I would hope anyway, that for people who watch Uzumaki and have heard about it, they go, oh, I should probably just read this, because it's probably way better. So yeah, and then that's like a whole different conversation too, of like, there's this kind of experience that I and other people have had where they watch the anime of something and they think, oh, this is a good anime. But then they read the manga and they're like, oh, this is a fucking amazing manga. It's a pretty good or good anime, but the manga is way better. That can happen too. And in that case, it's almost kind of... No, not kind of. It's the opposite. It's where I liked the anime, but I love the manga, so it does make the anime... It's not the original source material, but you know what I mean. Like, the first thing I watched, then I read the better version, and this one suffers in comparison. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that's what happens with me. Like, watching the bad version of something, and then watching the good source material does not diminish the enjoyment of the good material. But watching, like, an okay adaptation, and then reading the original great thing, that's where it makes that suffer. Anyway, Uzumaki was really bad. Very disappointing. I feel like, they had something there, but I imagine it was a lot of executive meddling and just, underfunding, and, you never blame the animators on this kind of thing. It's definitely like a fucking executive decision bullshit. You can tell because that first episode is so well crafted. But anyway, I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk about my thoughts on Uzumaki. And, yeah. There are some manga where I'm like, I don't know if an anime would have to be incredible to do it justice. Some that come to mind are like A Bride Story, one of my favorite manga. Beautiful art. But if they put out like a mediocre anime, it would just look like shit. I'm sorry. Or like something like Vagabond. Also, I feel like it's kind of hard to live up to. Not impossible. I would love to see anime that lived up to those series, but it would be a very, very tall order. Alright, that was this one. If you want to submit a future hot take, my Patreon is patreon.com/ProZD. That's $1 a month. Link down there. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.